you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. And welcome back to segment number 3, Convincing Idiots. I am Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and Zennial Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, we just experienced an incredible cosmic event that just passed this week with the total solar eclipse
I
that
thought
was
you were talking about when I mooned you.
perfectly visible from us here in northeastern Ohio. And Dean's moons are available and perfectly visible to anyone on the internet. But this one was specific to us. Which got us to think, I mean, it was a very fantastic event. It was incredible. We were all very in awe of it in general. Nothing bad happened. It was great, right? Was there something in the back of your mind?
Could be said about my moon, too.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something collides out there in space. I don't know. It does raise the question, right? If there were to be some type of insane, natural, apocalyptic disaster, how would that look? And maybe what are some of our
if the sun
portrayals
burned out now,
of... Can I get through the fucking intro?
We,
God damn it.
I was going to tell you a fucking fact. Fine. No, go.
No, go ahead. Mid-sentence. Go ahead. Just tell me a fact. Go ahead, we're waiting.
No.
I want to know the fact.
No, I want to listen to your 18-minute intro. Come on.
It was 4.5 minutes, goddammit. 4.5. Anyway, natural disaster movies. What are your favorites? Go around the table. Talking about Rushmore. What's your fact? We're going to discuss. Oh, God damn it. We're going to discuss some of our favorite portrayals in film of natural disasters, apocalyptic settings, so on and so forth. And now I'd like to throw it to Dean for a very special and incredibly urgent fact.
Did you know, speaking of apocalyptic, that if the sun burnt out right now, we wouldn't know about it for 8 minutes? Like if
right?
the Earth, if the sun just died,
so it could have burned out 6 minutes ago, and we'd still have no
correct.
idea.
Yeah, because it takes 8 minutes to reach us, so we wouldn't see darkness for 8 minutes.
As much as I do hate your incessant interruptions, that is interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
That is legitimately interesting.
Well, it's kind of like
the first
the movie
interesting
Brian.
thing he said this evening.
In 3 years. No, like the TV show Brian's watching, that what was it, 3 body count, where like they know in 40 years this army 400 years the alien invasion is incoming, so they have to figure out something to do with it. So if we knew, I mean, obviously 8 minutes is a very short time to figure out what to do. But
there's not much you can do.
No,
I think you're basically fucked. I mean, that's what you can do. You can go
find a blanket.
Yeah.
In that 8 minutes, Dean would interrupt all of our final words. That I do know that.
You just hug your loved ones. Hold on, real quick, before you do that, I gotta tell you something about wrestling.
Final thought to say.
In WrestleMania 12,
I'm glad you brought that up. Roddy Piper had one final thought. That's it. That's how it would end, right there. Something like that. It's close.
It's close. Beer was close to coming out of my nose on that one.
All right. Dean, what is one of your favorite apocalyptic movies or shows?
It's none of your goddamn business. That's what it is.
All right. Good.
Was one that Hulk Hogan starred in, probably.
Okay. My first one is Apocalypse Now.
Okay, there you go.
It's a joke. It's not an apocalyptic movie.
Right.
It's only the word as apocalypse. No, my number one, starting off, is it has one of the most heartbreaking scenes in film to me, and it happens to be in this weird, crazy zombie type movie. It is when Will Smith had to kill his dog in I Am Legend.
That was a good movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
And when he had because the dog just got infected because saving him, the dog got bit, and he had to suffocate it. It's right off screen. You don't see him actually doing it, but you can see him struggling and the dog whimpering and he's crying while he's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I Am Legend.
Very good. Brian?
I'm going to go with not quite my number one, but the Planet of the Apes series, gentlemen. So this goes back to all of them. So we could do a series of movies. I'm not trying to pick the best, but if I was going to pick the best Planet of the Apes, it would be the original.
Yeah.
In 68 or whatever it is with Charlton Heston. Just fabulous with the whole end scene of him realizing he's back on a Earth after humans have, blew it up basically with the Statue of Liberty on the beach. It's fantastic. Go ahead.
I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if we've ever done an episode of all time endings or twists at the end, but that's fucking one. Absolutely.
That is on our list, but yeah, we'll do that.
All time.
Great.
Iconic.
Great.
Yeah,
that was a surprise, and Rod Serling helped write the screenplay for that from the Great Twilight Zone. You could see that was definitely a nice twist on his part. Anyway, but the whole series, even the new ones that they rebooted and brought back out, or the new Planet of the Apes movie coming out soon, I just thought those were, for the most part, very well done. This shows you how apes. We know the story, so I won't even elaborate on it. But the Planet of the Apes movies is fantastic.
Yeah,
in those movies, you kind of root for the apes to overtake man because man is such a fuck up, destroyed the world.
Well, Dr. Zaius at the end reads that scripture or whatever, the prophecy or whatever it is about that mankind is the only species that will wage war on itself and all that stuff, and that's very true. Yeah, very true. Absolutely, and we're killing the earth. Even right now, so there you go. Yep. Nick? Yes, sir. I do have a question. Are we doing film and TV or just... Okay.
Yep.
So, I'm going to start off with a recent one.
That was not in your text, so I just...
Yes, it was.
Okay. So, in television, just going to go with the new one here, The Last of Us. Last of Us has been incredible. Very, not apocalypse necessarily, but certainly life as we would have known it would have, been gone with the infection that took over the world, and it's just really well done. From what I had never played the video games, I'd heard of the video games, I knew it was a video game, but I never played them. Which it's kind of cool because as a viewer of the show, I'm glad I've never played the games because I don't I like not really knowing what's learning it as we're watching it, but at the same time, it kind of makes me want to retroactively go back and play the games. But it's just really well done, interesting concept. I know Brian especially, I know you're a big fan of the zombie stuff, and that's all well and good, but it's been done a lot. So I like that this is a different twist. It still gives you that similar vibe, but it's not necessarily, zombies or whatever. So, but yeah, The Last of Us, I think, has just been fantastic so far. I can't wait for season 2. So that is my first pick.
Very good. Dean, did you verify my text that I clearly said shows and movies?
No, I can only get that on my phone. My number 2 is Shaun of the Dead. I just actually recently watched that. Had Carter watch it. Still holds up. It was made in early 2000s. Funny, kind of a little heartwarming at times, but very cool kind of zombie movie. And Shaun of the Dead is my next pick.
Nice,
excellent. Well, I'll stay with the zombie theme. I'm wearing a Tarman shirt, by the way, too, from Return of the Living Dead. One of my favorite movies. Tarman is one of the zombie characters. The Walking Dead series here, guys. So the original television series on AMC. They still have, shows running today. a lot of offshoots of the original series, but just fantastic. I know I've said it before on the show, but the one interesting thing about that is humans are more dangerous than, at least as dangerous, if nothing else, than the zombies are. The zombies are sort of players in this, but humans fighting to survive and still continuing to fight for power and greed, everything else, is one of the main, again, the primary dangers of that series. So very good, very interesting characters. It gives you a feel of what it would be like living in a zombie apocalypse. So that's it, Nick.
Nice. For my next submission, I will go with This Is the End. I absolutely fucking love this movie. James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Craig Robinson, Danny McBride. Fantastic. Just we'd be here for an hour if I were to sit here and name off every celebrity in the movie. It's incredible. They made it for, I think, just to have fun amongst themselves. But just incredible. Obviously, there's basically the end times overtake the world. A giant portal to hell opens up in the middle of Hollywood, and all the celebrities are there, and just a fantastic movie. Just ridiculous, over the top, silly. You both have seen this movie. Have you seen?
I saw it in the theater years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I absolutely love that movie. So many great comedic actors that I love that are in it. And like I said, it's just ridiculous. Super over the top, super gruesome, like death scenes and things like that. It's just a good mixture of, like the over the top B-movie style, deaths and stuff like that, and over the top gore and violence, and just the hilarity ensues. So I love that movie. So this is the end is my next one.
Also good at making fun of themselves and making fun of their profession and how crazy it is to be an actor, how self-important they are and everything. A lot of good stuff in that, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to see the actual version of that. I think I saw it on TBS. So I think I need to,
so like an edited version?
I need to see the unedited version.
I have it. I'll let you borrow it if you want to see it. I've got it on Blu-ray or something. Yeah. So
my
Dean,
next one, number 3, is Zombieland.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
Woody Harrelson,
Emma Stone,
Jesse Eisenberg.
Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Bill Murray in the first one or second one?
First one.
First one. That's right.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know because I'm not the biggest fan of zombie movies, but it definitely beat my expectations. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
One of the greatest intros of any zombie movie, as far as
I don't even remember.
The whole slow motion, it shows like the zombies starting to take over. There's different scenes. Like there's guys already got off a strip club with like a zombie stripper running after them. It's all kinds of stuff with Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls, playing.
Yeah.
Really, really cool lead in. And Woody Harrelson is fabulous. I love his character.
Yeah.
Florida, is that what he's called in that movie or something like that? Or
Yeah, I've same deal. I'm not the biggest zombie movie guy, and I think Robin and I rented it. Like when we first got together, we were at her old house. We watched it, and I was like, I absolutely loved it. I was like, that was fantastic. That was way better than I expected it to be. Yeah,
the scene when they go down the hill because they saw the overturned Hostess truck. And they go down there. He was so excited. It was just full of snowballs. He was so angry and upset. The snowballs. Because I love snowballs. He's like, it's not the taste. It's the consistency.
I do love a good snowball.
Yeah, you got to be in the mood for it, though, right? Yeah. Sometimes the snowball at the spot. And other times it's just like you need the Twinkie.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you the Matrix movies here, guys. Just a different play on an apocalyptic future where humans, as we know, are sort of in pods and they're living through an alternate reality and sort of discover that. So interesting concept. I mean, from a science fiction, the first one was just like, wow, it was a whole crazy vibe. Keanu Reeves, fantastic. Lawrence Fishburne, great. Just the whole thing was good. Maybe by the third, it was like, okay, it was, sort of maybe time to end it. And then the fourth, they did have a fourth one not that long ago, which was decent.
It was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fairly recent, so it was decent. It wasn't like I wasn't like angry that they made it and they tied into the story just fine. Was it necessary? No, but it was still pretty cool. But that whole universe and that concept of that was very original, and it does make you think. Like if you were a part of that universe, what you would really, what would you want to do? Would you want to remain sort of in your pod, living in a kind of an exciting life, an alternate reality, or do you really want to wake up and be a part of that terrible, terrible apocalyptic world, which would be a very hard way to go, but you would have your own life? I don't know. So it did raise a lot of interesting questions. So very cool universe, The Matrix.
Yeah. Very cool.
Nick? Yeah.
Next on my list, I have War of the Worlds. Specifically, the one that I'm referencing is the Tom Cruise one from the early 2000s. I loved the way it was done. I thought one of the things that really caught me, like we've seen a lot of different like alien takeover movies, things like that. The aliens were very different in the way that they had to defeat the aliens, and they had it was just very original, very, very different. Like, for example, I love the movie Signs with Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson. Thought it was fantastic. My only gripe was at the end when they showed the alien and it's in the living room and they're face to face with it. It's very like stereotypical, tall, greenish gray, like alien with the big eye. It looked like the aliens that, I don't know. I liked in War of the Worlds, that Tom Cruise one, that the aliens were very different looking. They almost kind of had these like long, lanky legs. They walked on fours, and these I don't know how to describe it if you haven't seen it, but I really thought that movie was really well done. You definitely I don't know, in that movie I remember watching it and being really taken with it and feeling like you're really going through the struggle to stay alive and on they're just on to the next thing with that family. It's just a dad and his two kids, just trying to make it to safety and make it to the next safe place. And then obviously they encounter all different kinds of people in similar situations with different motives, and you don't know who to trust. But War of the Worlds, I don't know, it's probably like what, 2003, 4, 5, somewhere around there, that Tom Cruise one. So that was always one that I really enjoyed. So
go back and watch the original as well. You can find it out there on streaming.
Okay.
Interesting.
What year would the original have been made?
Gosh, I think 50s. I want to say something like that. I run into it one night, just one of those nights in the backyard in the summertime, just chilling out. And I'm like, I've never saw the original of that, and it was interesting.
Okay,
for sure. Yeah.
Dean?
Cool. My number 4 is The Stand, Stephen King's, and it was I guess, regardless of what I thought of the text, it was on TV, but it was a miniseries, like 8 parts or some shit like that.
Fantastic.
It was quite long. I didn't see the new one, but I'm going more on the original, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Dauber from Coach. It was very Randall Flagg. I don't know the guy's name who played that, but he was fantastic as I guess Randall Flagg is the devil, in a sense, or devil on earth. Kind of the world is taken down by a plague, and only select few people survive, and they have to ultimately make a stand against the devil and his people that follow him that are left on Earth as well. So it was very cool.
Yeah, it was like in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah,
I think that was. I recall that. That was. I was.
Is there Rob Lowe in it as well?
Rob Lowe. Yeah. Just fantastic.
MOON. That spells moon.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, it was one of the few. It got pretty dark. I mean, at that time, you figure, cable certainly was around in the mid '90s, but they weren't.
It was on ABC.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't really. You're right. It was. You're right. But it had some pretty scary and violent tones in that thing.
Yeah.
So it was, it had come out around somewhere in there too. But it was definitely very shocking and compelling. So yeah, very good stuff. Yeah.
I've heard of The Stand. But I've never I know that hearing it, but I don't ever have never seen it or anything like that.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, going through the pandemic makes you think about that as well. Like you said, it's just that a flu wipes out all these, just with select humans. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dean, Brian.
Yeah.
Never mind, you're Dean. Brian.
Let's see here. How about more zombie stuff here, guys? The Godfather of the zombie movies, the George Romero universe with the Night of the Living Dead movies. So you had Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. So just, he established the zombie movie. I mean, he took it to another level. He created the whole zombie, rules, and it's just, zombies are here. It didn't really explain what happened, which was perfectly fine. And it just humans trying to survive in that world. So certainly that was an inspiration for many other movies, Shaun of the Dead, as Dean mentioned, The Walking Dead, whatever. But George Romero really started it all. Dean, you say something?
Thank you.
You're being called on.
Thank you. I'd watched a documentary about film and film history and horror movies, and I guess the idea and concept of zombies as we know them came from George Romero. That movie, there was no even written thing about zombies themselves or the whole eating brains, flesh, coming from the dead. What we know of zombies and lore in zombies movies, I guess, comes from George Romero's brain.
Sure.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, a genius in many rights. I know I've talked about him several times on this podcast.
Yeah.
His movies, but just terrifying. People keep rise from the dead. Why? Don't know. It just happens, and it's an endless amount of dead people. They're going to keep coming after you. That's it. Can't stop them unless you destroy the brain.
You know what? That is an underrated thing. Like I said with This Is Us, it's kind of akin to it's a zombie movie thing, or not a movie, but it's a zombie premise, but not zombies, right? But if you were in the actual situation, it's much more horrifying to not know why this is happening. At least with that whole thing, they understand there's elements to it. There's scientific reasons to why this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
With the zombies, there's no fucking. You don't even know what's causing that. It's just they're there, and it's happening, and you're fucked. What are you gonna do?
There's a good chance you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Take into consideration if it happened right now. We don't have the TVs on. We don't have our phones on. We would just have to start, fleeing and running, and you wouldn't, when be the next time? Because in theory, TV, phones, everything is going down around you, so you wouldn't be able to have somebody tell you. You wouldn't have the whatever people, the media or anybody to tell you what's exactly happening.
Sure.
So you just know that these people around you, your friends and family, are trying to eat you and are zombies.
Right.
Yeah, and those movies too were, they added that element where, just what you're saying, they had glimpses of, people were listening to the radio, they were watching television, and people just that very thing. They didn't know what was going on. They're trying to explain it, and there's scientists trying to tell you what to do, and then it's just everybody's terrified.
Yeah.
You try to maintain some type of semblance of society and warn people and try to help people and talk about it and warn it, and it just meanwhile the whole world
take advantage of them and steal their resources.
Sure. Yeah. So good stuff. All those movies are great in their own right. The original's still way up there, but any of those movies, you can't go wrong to watch any of the George Romero zombie movies.
Yeah.
Nick?
All right, is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Going down the list here. Hey, if no one else is going to say it, Terminator.
I'll be back.
I know that I like Arnold, and I bring up a lot of Arnold properties, and I've gushed about Terminator before and other different lists that we've done. But this one fits in again. It's great science fiction, and certainly the world in which Skynet and the Terminators have taken over is that of a modern day apocalypse. So, and again, like we've talked about before, I'm just going to kind of touch on the things we've all already said in past episodes. With AI and things like that, it's certain elements of it are ringing truer and truer every day. But nonetheless, it's a great, just a great storyline, great movies. So I don't really know what else there is to say about the Terminator franchise that I haven't said already. But yeah, Terminator.
James Cameron's going to make new ones, Nick, with the AI premise there. That's what it is. So the new ones will be coming, especially on the heels of all this AI technology that you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Sure.
It's like the king OG of like what our apocalypse would actually look like. I remember as a kid that scene in Terminator 2 where it showed the nuclear blast of her holding onto the fence and just blowing everybody into dust. Yeah, you had The Day After Tomorrow back in the 80s on TV, that movie, Brian. I don't know if you remember that one.
Day After.
Yeah. But that was like how society's dealing with it. This was like, it showed you like the physical, like your skin being blown off.
Yeah.
Like it was really freaky to me as a kid. It really kind of hit home, like that's our apocalypse. That's, you're coming off the heels of the 80s and the Cold War against Russia and all of that. And then to see, the flesh burnt off, it was chilling.
Yeah. We always talk a lot about, like, in pop culture in general, like The Simpsons, calling is Jim Cameron a prophet? Like, has he been telling us these things for years? Like, I mean, it's pretty wild. Like, honestly, think about like Avatar even. Like, I mean, obviously Avatar, has an eye towards like climate change and things like that, how we're killing the earth. But who knows with avatars, is that something where like almost like a Ready Player One type of reality that we get into? It's very interesting.
Well, he did this movie back in the 90s called Titanic. You know that shit actually happened?
I know. Did he call that one too?
Called it. Right on the money.
Wow. Wow. Dean, I think you're up.
My final let's see. I have Independence Day, Will Smith's second spot on my list.
Yeah. Good one.
Good movie.
You had the especially in the theaters, how big it was to see the buildings blow up in Los Angeles and New York, and the White House blowing up, and the cool scene of that helicopter trying to, assuming it had the vice president, the helicopter vice president, flies on, and it's trying to get away, and it blows up with it, and everybody gets out just in time. And the cast was, I mean, is sometimes looking back at it now, I guess, as cheesy as the dialogue it was still a fantastic cast from Will Smith,
Jeff Goldblum,
I mean, well, that's all I have to say.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton as the president.
Yeah. Probably the greatest presidential speech known to cinema and in real life. When he gets everybody hyped up for Independence Day.
Thor Tops in our fictional president episode was
that's right.
Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So our president leading the way for my number 5 on my Mount Rushmore of apocalyptic movies, Independence Day.
Very good. Nick, had overlap with Terminator. I figured you were going to say it
Yeah.
sooner or later, so I'll let you say it first. So,
Oh,
yeah, getting
all
this.
right. Yeah, I was like, someone's gonna say Terminator. I was like,
course.
we got it in the fourth spot, and I was like, well,
I mean,
Actually,
great
if we're going to go
series,
that route,
yeah,
it was on my list. I changed it because he'd said it.
okay, yeah.
I had some.
I mean-
I always have ones that I could back up and put in that place. So
sure. I mean, after the first two, the rest were sort of hit and miss. Some clunkers in there, certainly in the whole series, but the whole premise and the first two movies are just fabulous, fantastic. And again, like you say, one of Arnold's best roles. Very scary. You know, it's, when you watch the zombie movies, it's like, that can never happen, really.
Right.
But again, like you said already, you watch a Terminator, it's like, that's not so far fetched to where machines become aware and kill us all. Is it going to be a whole time travel thing? Yeah, probably not. But the whole awareness thing, it's like that's not out of the question.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies where if you did watch it back in the 80s, the original one, you probably watched it in like you said about the other movies. Okay, I mean it's a cool premise, but it's not happening. But the further along we go, you look back and go, oh shit, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hit rewind on that because VHS. Let's watch that one again.
It went from being like when you first saw it to being like, that's kind of an eerie premise. Interesting, isn't it? Far fetched still, but eerie to think that And then as time goes on, it becomes just scarier and scarier. You're like, it's legitimately like, okay, like now people are, blatantly referencing Terminator when we talk about AI and stuff. I mean, it's like, okay, shit, this is kind of like
afraid.
This is how Skynet starts. Like, what the fuck's
genuinely
going on?
afraid about it. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep.
Any honorable mentions here, guys?
I'm not done. I got a fifth.
I'm so sorry.
Don't you two?
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Oh, you had that was your fifth.
Okay, right. I apologize.
My fifth. We've done a lot of like post-apocalyptic worldscape things like that. This one is more of like a natural disaster themed, and it's The Perfect Storm with Russell Crowe, Mark Wahlberg. I want to say 2001, something like that. Nobody's ever seen The Perfect Storm.
Bunch
of guys on a fishing boat. Bunch of dudes. Yeah,
I mean, it was their apocalypse.
Oh, was like the whole huge wave or something?
Yeah. They're fishermen by trade. They're out on a fishing boat and have to navigate. There's obviously this perfect storm is brewing as they're on this, this big.
That's like
fishing
saying
trip.
The Towering Inferno was an apocalyptic movie.
Well,
it was an apocalypse for the people that involved.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed to be apocalyptic. It was supposed to be a disaster movie or disaster themed thing. So I went with disasters. Right? No? Did I misread the text?
Yes, you did. That's okay.
Okay.
Did I? It's
That's
apocalypse?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. Okay.
Then, okay. Oh, man. Am I glad that... All right. Because I had looked up disaster movies and I'm like, I've not seen many, it turns out. So I thought I was like bordering the line with a lot of my
Could
picks.
this episode be on that list?
No, it is a good. I mean, disaster movies is
this
a
is
good
a disaster.
topic. It's not a disaster. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, well, it was a natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess, right, to them. Or no, we're not going for disaster. So yeah, apocalyptic.
Yeah. It was their apocalypse.
Okay, then I'll go back to honorable mention. Planet of the Apes was on my list as well, but I bumped it. Right. So there we go. Honorable mention, Perfect Storm. See how that works?
My honorable mention was The Day After Tomorrow. It was that, what was his name? The kid from, I should have put more research into that one.
The 80s series you're talking about?
No. It was the one where the fucking New York froze over.
It was
not Tobey Maguire, but Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Had to get his family all throughout it, but the whole world was like freezing. I don't remember fucking how it happened, but the whole. I think even the poster is like just the Statue of Liberty, half of it sticking out of like ice and stuff.
I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. Any other honorable mentions, Dean?
No, that's all I had.
Okay.
I'll be got it. Sorry, I'm still here. Okay. Here's where another best disaster / apocalyptic movies or shows in week of the eclipse from Brian. Text message. That's where I got my. Okay, so
my apologies.
Actually, turns out because he said yes. So turns out, TV shows apocalypse disaster. There you go.
Okay.
So everyone was right and everyone was wrong. How about that?
I was wrong. I did not see TV shows.
Okay.
That's okay. Well, you didn't have TV shows. You had movies.
Right.
Well, that's okay. You had the Stand as a TV show. The Stand's a TV show, so that's all right. We're all good.
Yes.
We're all good.
I was going to say, I swore I saw Disaster because I legitimately, when I was like, there are some topics we do that I do research on because I'm like, they don't come straight to my mind. Others, I'm like, oh, fuck, no problem. So this one, I was like, disaster movies. I could think, and I'm like, I can think of some, but a lot of them, as I was looking, I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of disaster movies.
I didn't read TV shows or the word disasters, so my list probably would have been different if I would have read it correctly.
Yeah, it's like honorable mentions. I wrote down Twister because I was reaching for straws. Like I was like
that would be a great disaster movie.
When you joked about Titanic, I was like, I probably would have thrown in an honorable mention just because. Like,
yeah,
it was it was featured around a historical accurate disaster. So yeah. But you know what? Disasters, apocalypse, no matter what, if you're in the situation, you're fucked. So basically, these are things in pop culture and TV or film who, if you were in those situations, you just be like, you're fucked. There you go.
You just want to get a run as far away as you could.
Yeah.
Right.
Episode title, top scenarios in which you would be fucked. Leave it at that, and then let the person coming to listen to the episode decide for themselves what it means.
There you go. Dee tried to help you with a lead into the electric bike. That's okay. I'll give honorable mentions real quick. That's all right.
Give a little honorable mentions. A little help.
That's all right. I had Zombieland overlap. I had Shaun of the Dead also. This is the end. The Day After series, Dean, 1983. At that time, man, that was really dark.
It scared a lot of fucking people.
Super dark shit. That was a nuclear war, and it was like, people surviving after that and just out roaming wreckages of houses. I still, to this day, there was a scene in my brain where somebody walked by a house and there was some kid that was like fried in this rubble, like screaming, and somebody saw it. I was like, God damn, just frightening images, man. It was really creepy. And especially at that time, it was like a whole nuclear war scare was very prevalent at that time. So 28 days later,
as a disclaimer for that, remember?
You're right, because this is not real. Right. They had to make sure it was clear that this is a movie. This is not real. In case somebody
had a hotline, I think, set up for people that were affected by watching it.
Yeah, that was legit shit back then, yeah. But kudos to them for airing it. Right. It was definitely very controversial and made you think, and it was something. 28 Days Later, I was starting to say that's if you haven't seen, there's two of these movies. It's a zombie movie. 28 days after the zombie thing happens is sort of the premise, but very good, very very frightening. Again, there's people trying to survive in that, and the Mad Max series.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Very good, and as we know that they made a new movie a couple of years ago, and there's a new one that'll be coming out soon. I think later this year, as a matter of fact. Another in that universe. So looking forward to that.
The girl from Queen's Gambit.
Yes. Yeah, taking over
Anna Taylor.
Green.
Yeah.
Something or another.
I don't know.
Yeah. Taking over from Charlize Theron, so you're playing the same character that was in the last Mad Max movie. Yeah, same character, but different actress. But good stuff. All right,
nice. Yeah, honorables. I got Twister, Titanic. Yeah. Oh, Road to Revolution. You guys see that one? It's like the Road to Revolution as what 97, something like that. Apocalypse breaks out. This guy hops on his electric bike and rides his way into his revolutionary decision to purchase An electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. That's correct. If you didn't see that in 1997, I'm telling you about it now. You're late to the party. Call our friends at RPM Bike Shop at 330-808-7792. They are located conveniently in Carrollton, Ohio. Or you can give them a search on Facebook. Just type in RPM Bike Shop. You can see the fine electric bikes that they have to offer you. Or you can go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com. And see your way into your own revolutionary decision to hook yourself up with a fine electric bike from RPM Bike Shop and escape your own apocalyptic ride right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Dean, I'm just curious. What was your lead in? I missed it.
Is he running away or something like that?
You said that all these disaster movies would show you what was happening. I said, yeah, it would show you trying to get away, maybe by running
or walking, or there you go.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's
okay. That's all right. Call our friends also.
You okay, buddy?
Call our friends also at soon to be former Golden Heart Tattoo. They will have a new name and a new location in wonderful Wadsworth, Ohio shortly. But you can still give them a call at 234-706-2982. Get yourself a tattoo of your favorite apocalyptic character or movie or show or disaster show or a tornado or whatever the hell you want. They can do it for you with quality and care. How about that?
Fantastic.
Right. And some call it a disaster, some call it frightening, some call it an apocalyptic turn of events when the show comes to an end. Gentlemen.
Disparaging, for sure.
It is. It really is.
Well, it may not be the end of days, but it is the end of this day for us, and we must call it a night. So, we will live to fight another day, and you will live to find us another day by, for example, going to our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Or perhaps a link to our social media accounts, which would be found on Google by typing Convincing Idiots Linktree, LINKTREE. So fear not, till the bitter end of times, we will be with you. I am Millennial Nick.
Zennial Dean.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to ride out the rest of your days in this mortal coil, listening to us on Convincing Idiots? I mean, you're going to die anyway. You might as well, right? Like, what's the difference?
Watch us in a luxury bunker.
Did you just see that shit? If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. Come back. You're going to want to.